Okay, so activity 5 also talks about the different types of nozzles or branches on the truck. So first thing is, you'll notice all of the branches and the hoses that we normally use are kept in the passenger side of the truck. The idea of that is that when we pull up somewhere, we're then on the footpath, so you're not working out on the road. So when you're running around here, you're on the footpath side. So in this front locker here, you've got all of our normal hoses. And then down the bottom is where we keep the various branches. And that's why I want to just talk through what they are now. So the first type of branch that we cover off is the dialer jet. So it's a very small diameter branch. It only uses a very small amount of water. It's got a 25mm fitting on it. So if you're using 25mm hose or the live oils on the back, that's fine, it plugs straight in. If you're going to use any bigger hose, then you obviously need to have the reducers to be able to make that work. On the end, you can dial it round to the different diameters. So it's got a larger diameter and then various smaller diameters, and that one there is a spray. So literally you turn it around, and between each of those, it's off. Yeah, so once you're onto one of them, it's whatever diameter it is. If you're half on, half off, it'll come out more of a spray. And when you're in between them, it's completely off. You'll often use the dialer jet with a gloved hand as well. So when it's on a bit of a spray, you'll often put your hand over the end of it like this to make the water spread out. We normally use the dialer jet again for small fires. Yeah? Small water, small fire. So things like grass fires it's good for, but mop up is where it's really excellent. It uses a very, very small amount of water, and that makes it ideal for doing mop up over a long period of time. So that's the dialer jet. The next one you've got is a variable nozzle. So this one here is a Honing. How do you know that? It's written on it. It says Honing. It's a V12. How do you know that? It's written on it. It says V12. And the idea with these is that if you turn them, they have an off position, and then you turn them on, and if you turn them all the way to the left, so hard to the left, then they'll go into a full fog pattern. So one of the lines we have is left is life. So you turn it all the way to the left, and you get a full protective fog pattern that can help keep heat and smoke away from you when you're out on the fire ground. When you're using these branches, your hand goes on the top. I'm left-handed, so my left hand goes on the top. So all the way to the left becomes life. So left is life. If I want to turn it off, it's all the other way and it turns off. If you're right-handed, obviously the other way, but left is still life, all the way back to turn it off again. These things get heavy and a bit tiring to use. It's a 38mm branch, so it puts out a lot of water, but you can't control really how much water. It's set at 38mm diameter, and it is what it is. So they do get a little bit tiring, but that's the Honing V12. There's also a Honing V18, sorry, which runs on a 65mm hose, so just that little bit bigger. The other type of hose we have is our fog nozzle. This is the one we use most commonly, and so we have it stored with a short length of stay dry. So it's about 1.5 meters, 2 meters long, and the idea is that that will stay dry so that you don't get wet while you're using it. The idea of getting wet sounds appealing when you're at a fire, but the problem is the moment you get any heat exposed onto you, that water then evaporates and you get steam burns. It also makes your clothing heavy, it's hard to walk around, and if you're still wet at the end of the day, then you get cold. So as crazy as it sounds, we try to stay dry rather than getting wet, and the stay dry helps us to achieve that. So the fog nozzle is a good branch in that it's pistol grip, so it's much easier to hold onto it. Again, you turn it on and off on the top. So it's got written here closed across the top there. So push it all the way forward is the closed position, pull it all the way back is the open position. You can then change the amount of water. So it's got a collar here that you can spin around, and it literally tells you the litres per minute. Some of the older ones will say gallons per minute. So litres per minute, this one's set on 115. You can spin that around separately to the end piece, right? So I'm spinning this piece around. And again, you normally start at the smallest volume of water, but if you need more water, you can turn it up. You've then got the fog pattern on the end, and again, left is life. So all the way to the left creates a really good fog pattern. Back the other way is more a jet pattern. You'll see in the end of them, they've got a set of teeth here that spin around. So those teeth, the idea of that is that when you're putting it into some kind of a fog, it puts a spray of different small jets out, and those teeth then spin around to break those jets up to make a solid cone of water. The point of that is don't drop these. These things are worth about $1,500, $1,800 each. and you obviously want to look after them. And one of the areas they get damaged is on the end on those teeth. So when you look at it on a Sunday, just check the teeth are still there. They should spin freely like that. And then when you're finished using it, put it back into the off position, and then we store it in the truck, like I said, with the stay dry on it. So just wrap the stay dry around, and then it can go back into the shelf.